channel. So today's video is a first impression, I was about to say review and double, first impression of the Makeup Forever Velvet Matte Foundation. So I was kind of contemplating whether I wanted to do this or not for like the last month, but I just felt it was so necessary, especially for such a big brand in the industry and a brand that's been very consistent with people of my skin tone. I just felt like I needed to do it justice, so welcome. So before we get into this video, if you haven't already, please subscribe below. You're literally gonna get so many videos in the next month. Actually, before I get into the video, I wanted to mention that I'm gonna do a challenge, and I'm gonna bring pumping out content, styling and beauty related, for the next month every single day, which is super exciting. It's something definitely that's gonna challenge myself and really help myself take myself more seriously when it comes to this whole world of beauty and styling, especially because it's something that I really love and want to get more into. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications as well, and you'll be up to date. So the first category we're going to discuss today is the application process, which I'm going to leave next. So getting right into it, I have the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin, and I have it in the color R540, which I will mention more later in this review. So I'm just going to use a little bit. This is the bottle it comes out, and I'm going to squeeze some out. Now this is exciting because I feel like I'm on a roll of matte foundations. So let's see how this works. So I did apply this in store, but I didn't get the opportunity to like put it in my whole face, obviously. So we're gonna see how that works out. So far, so good. Every time I apply matte foundations, I feel like I'm on like a crunch time. Like I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna run out of time. Like it's gonna dry in 2 seconds or something. Which is really funny. I mean, the color match is not bad at all. At all. And the application process is it's a little tough. It's like the best way for me to put it. Like, not tough to do, it's just I'm not used to matte concealer. So what honestly felt like an entire 2 minutes, I kept calling this a concealer. It's obviously a foundation. I think my mind was just elsewhere. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. So that's probably a good thing to note, that if you're more used to like creamier dewy concealers like what I'm used to reviewing and wearing, this one is definitely different. It dries super fast. Like it's already dried pretty much on the face. What I like is that if you don't have to use as much product to get coverage, and it's definitely thicker, so I feel like I can definitely feel that a little more than what I like to. But I feel like that might be expectation because it is a full coverage concealer, and if you're used to watching me, I love a lightweight medium coverage foundation because I feel like it's so easy to build those up and to work that with your skin. If you're really used to a full coverage concealer, this will definitely be for you. So getting right into the first category. The first category is a price. So the price of this foundation is $38 USD, which I feel like is rather fair. When you do get the product, it's not in a standard foundation bottle, so it does throw me off personally. But I just feel like, I don't know, it just looks like a lot less. It is 1.01 flow ounces, which will also lead into the size of the product, which I believe is pretty standard for most foundations. I mean, you'll get a couple that'll have a little bit more, but when I was applying this, because it is full coverage, a little goes a long way. So although it looks small, you're not using as much product as you typically would with most foundations. So you also have to keep that in mind. So I feel like you would get your money's worth for $38 USD. Granted, you use it sparsely. If you're into full coverage, you're probably going to use quite a bit more. So the next category that I want to mention is how it looks after a few hours. I did just apply this foundation, so right now it is 2:33, and I will come back in a few hours and explain how it feels and how it did throughout the day. So it's nighttime now, and I'm actually just about to get ready to do my night routine and go to bed. But it is 8:59 p.m. And I will say it is a bit oilier than when I had originally put it on. I did a full day, so I was outside taking photos in like 30-degree weather, which is like, I don't know, 80 something or 90 something degrees, I have no idea, in Fahrenheit. But I was very, very active and I was really sweaty, so I feel like it held through really well. It also is a, like I was saying, because it is a fuller coverage foundation, I'm actually quite surprised at how much I don't actually feel it on my face throughout the day. It did really, really well. I feel really good, like I can move my face around and I don't feel like it's too much. Typically when my face gets to this point, or even like a few hours ago when it got to this point, I just mat it with a NARS translucent powder, and it just brings me back to my usual ways. But I didn't want to do anything that would alter the video, so this literally is how my face was before I left you guys, and this is what it is now that I'm back. The next category that I want to mention is how available it is. I just walked into my little Sephora. As you guys know, I live in a small town, so I walked into my little Sephora and it was readily available. It was highly stocked, like all the colors were stocked. There were about 2 of each color, and then I'm sure they had more in the drawers. So generally speaking, this product was stocked, and for my skin color, it also was surprisingly stocked. So I think that just goes for Makeup Forever. This is actually my first Makeup Forever foundation, or really anything that's like a beauty product. It's not like a primer or something from the brand. So this was very available, and I was super happy about that. Like, that was a big deal. The last category that I want to mention, one of my favorites, is the color. So actually, the color that I picked is R540, and typically speaking, I've realized over time I have like a neutral undertone, so I would say neutral with more yellows than reds. A lot of the darker areas are red, but generally speaking, that's how my skin is, and that's what really does well with most of the foundations that I purchase. So when purchasing this, obviously I felt like the R stood for red and then the Y stood for yellow when it came to the other colors, but there weren't dark enough shade ranges for me to be able to find a yellow that worked. The darkest yellow for me was very yellowy to basically say the least, whereas with other brands I've been able to have yellow undertone foundations and they weren't so yellowy. So this one actually turned out to be work really well for my face. I wouldn't even say it was that red tone. I'm not sure like what they base it off of for undertones or whatnot, but I felt like for my neutral areas it did really well. But it was a little bit more less, yeah, a little bit reddy, but not like really red. So I felt like it did well to probably categorize it as like a neutral undertone. But nonetheless, I'm not like a makeup scientist, I'm just an enthusiast. So generally speaking, the color range I'm really happy about. It does set a little bit grayish. I'm not going to lie about that. When I was applying it, that was something that I noticed, that the whole matte phase sometimes ends up meaning dry. After using the new NYX foundation, I love that that was not a thing anymore. Like, you can have matte without necessarily meaning you have a grayish kind of tint to your face, whereas it felt like this was kind of like that, but it's not too bad. However, as you guys probably know, I love when my face matches my dress. So that's really important to me. But generally speaking, I believe that is absolutely everything that I wanted to discuss in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm just going to be pumping out content and content. So if you have any preferable foundations, concealers, any type of beauty related anything, or styling things that you would love me to feature, let me know and I'll be glad to make a video about that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll check you guys in another video. Bye, loves.